Introduction by Hieronymus Lens of the Preceptoid 5. In our hand is a book with the cover art of Free Spirit Third Eye. Hieronymus Lens, welcome. My name is Hieronymus Lens. I'm an original member of the Preceptoid 5. Preceptoid name is derived from perception, precipitation, and humanoid. We were a group of African American visual artists, writers, poets, and filmmakers. 5 members that indulge in the genres of fantasy, science fiction, science faction, horror, mythology, and of course science fiction. We first collaborated and then formed in the early 70s, 1972 I presumed. My contribution is a tale of women calling themselves Immortelles. They dwell on an unnamed planet. Powerful beings, they ruled with an unsettling stronghold over subservient beings called males or mantis. In the spiritual realm, all are presided over and governed by celestial demons called free spirit. They exist to view and manipulate characters of this world. This chapter focuses on an immortelle named Bronzah, a social worker and healer by occupation, returns to revolutionary dealings and the events that take place in her world when an immortelle and a free spirit turn denizens into pawns of their own personal earthquake. I've come to know Bronzah and the Immortelles and their mythology during my creative process. It's a strange and wondrous universe. I am Hieronymus Lens, and I present to you my saga of Free Spirit Third Eye. Fade into black. Interior, dark day. Semaj Leahcim, the twin Immortelles of the Militia police force, wearing soldier uniforms, approach a figure in silhouette. The twins are brandishing what looks like to be guns called sort of weapon. Semaj Leahcim together. Bronzah? Skip to exterior, homestead of Immortelle Semaj Leahcim, dark day. An Immortelle stands facing the front gate carrying a briefcase. She wears a derby hat, 2 braids. Interior, Semaj Leahcim homestead. Another Immortelle opens the front door to reveal Bronzah. Famali. Bronzah, welcome to Semaj Leahcim homestead. Bronzah. Greetings, sister. I'm reporting to speak to Semaj Leahcim. Famali. My sister is the reason we sent for you. This time is different. Semaj arrived here and would not permit any of her sisters to follow her into the quarter room. Then it started. Bronzah, what started? Famali, the Duntalunt. Pardon. The minds screaming. Bronzah, screaming. Did you go in? Famali. None of my sisters, including myself, were able to go in. Bronzah, how long since this happened? Famali, 3 days ago. But since you're here, I would like to ask you, Madj Faubus, you are her daughter. Can you submit a request to Kayut to be an Immortelle militia? Bronzah, my mother, Madj Faubus, disappeared a few ago. Plus, will you have to speak to Semaj Leahcim, for they had the militia. Now, Famali, lead me to several Esther's quarter room, interior, quarter room entrance. Famali, wait, sister, I must confess before you proceed. Bronzah, what do you mean? Famali, around the second day I intruded, I went in, and what was done, I'm saying I should escort you as precaution. I will leave you to take it all in. Also, after you completed your insight to Savla's disruption, if you can refer me to Madj Faubus for possible training in the militia. Bronzah, like I said, my mother Madj Faubus has left us. Vanish. Myself and the other sisters absolutely have no answers. Now, please, sister, will you conduct your escort? Shield me, if you must, from what I am soon to see. My purpose is to intervene, if need be. Bronzah stepped forward. Famali cuts in front, blocking Famali. You must understand, Savla is a talented militia soldier of Kayut. To do this to her own property, Bronzah, well, it was expected that you would lead me in, especially if you insist. I am at your guide. Famali escorts Bronzah down corridor to a door frame. Famali opens and they proceed. Interior, Savla's quarter. Bronzah walks up. Her expression reveals and reacts to 4 males laying on the floor near the far wall. Every blank of Bronzah's eyes, snapshots, grisly bodies. One of the males gashed open at the abdomen. The rest are mutilated. Famali, Sister Bronzah, I present Savla Esther. Sitting in the corner of the left of Bronzah, a youthful-looking Immortelle, despite her credits as a militia soldier, she's cradling a sort of weapon. Savla, Bronzah, you're here. I see the needs of the Mons outweigh the needs and the wants of your fellow sister Immortelles. Bronzah, I was requested by your fellow sisters. I'm aware of your reputation as militia, highly talented, given free homestead because of your talents. Please, sister, what have you done? Savla, you see, what was done, but because of my talents, what I've seen is not endearing. Talents to find those shape-shifting humanoids. My talents are too far to boast on. Did you know there is an enzyme given from Immortelles to Mons only after a violent copulation? The Mons instantly becomes pregnant, and soon an infant 4-armed humanoid is thrust into our world. Bronzah, a reason for Immortelles not to abuse and rape males, otherwise I would not be called. Savla snickers. Settler. No. The reason was your mother, our exalted Madj Faubus, Bronzah. Madj Faubus has disappeared. No one knows. Settler. No one knows, not even Semaj Leahcim, your twin sisters who started the militia through Madj Faubus. Started behind a curse. Started by Madj Faubus at the beginning of our time when Madj led the first Immortelles far from our birthlands to a distant village of humanoids. They housed our future treasure, the Mons. Madj and the Immortelles befriended, then massacred those humanoids and enslaved the Mons. Exterior humanoid village. Flashback to see Madj Faubus and the Immortelles conquering humanoids and capturing the males, the Mons. Back to interior, several extras. Several. Now they are concubines brutalizing for generations until the offspring. The shape-shifting offspring hiding among us. Too many cases where Immortelles were unaware that their property was not real male. Interior, homestead flashback. Immortelle Militia enters a room with the sort of weapons drawn. A mutilated Immortelle sprawled on a cot and entrails smeared on the wall reads, "Do you belong to anyone?" An Immortelle Militia steps up close, removes uniform headgear. It is Settler as she surveys the scene in the gas. Interior, Settler's homestead. Settler. We were trained well by Semaj Leahcim, but nothing prepared me for this, and it was only the beginning to affect me, Bronzah. But what you did to your property, Settler, I realize no one knows that either. No one knows that Madj's son, Ignoro, who was allowed untouchable and was part of Immortelle society where no male was ever allowed, Bronzah. It was at my request he remained untouchable, Settler. And that led to the ill-fated Monteith's revolt. I take it you helped spurn that one. Ignoro being your brother, untouched. Tell me, what conviction did you use? Bronzah. Ignoro confided his dreams to me. Settler. Males have dreams. She snickers. Bronzah. In his dreams, another world where males rule, they conquer, they humiliate, where they taint sisters in that world, and that by the hands of males. These Duntalant sisters are constantly overpowered physically and mentally. And I, Bronzah, daughter of Madj Faubus, told him that his dreams are real and that there is such a place. That his dreams will inspire other males, Settler. And because of that will come to pass the revolt and the slaughter of many Duntalant, including your brother Ignoro. Exterior, flashback to a battle scene between the Militia and the Mons. A sort of weapon lies on the ground. A male, Ignoro, picks it up and runs with it. His facial expression changes. He stops running and slowly turns around. The sort of weapon is still on the ground with the hand clasps to it along with a forearm, bicep, and a cold cut neatly at the shoulder. Then a pair of uniform boots appear by the gun and the severed limb. A uniform glove reaches and unclaps her fingers from the gun, picks up the gun, steps over the severed limb. It's Semaj. She has now 2 sword weapons, one in each hand. As she aims at the frightened male without an arm, a light beam from both barrels illuminates his face. He is paralyzed by the sight. Semaj then fires the gun open. A Noro blasting neat severe shapes holes within his body. Sevla. I wonder where males come from. A noise and a moan from the corner of the room. Another male lying on the floor begins to writhe. Its abdomen is moving. As Bronzah and Sevla watch, Sevla positions herself with the sword of weapon at the ready. More moaning. Sevla aims. A gleeful, intense-looking eye. The abdomen of the male bursts. An instant yell. An infant humanoid is born. From the point of view of humanoid, we see Sevla aim a shot. Crystal tip of weapon of sword lights up. Bronzah grabs Sevla's arm, throws off aim. Point of view of infant humanoid as it scurries past, watching Bronzah and Sevla struggle with weapon. Humanoid roars off hiding. Bronzah still holds on. Sevla. You know, Bronzah, sisters never kill each other. You do know that. Another noise, the same from the third male. Abdomen bulges. Abdomen breaks. Bronzah and Sevla are still locked on the weapon. Infant humanoid springs from a third male body. Sevla is still trying to take aim and lock weapon while struggling with Bronzah. Still from point of view of humanoid, it lets out a streak and runs in the direction of the other humanoid hiding in place. Sevla. You may still hold on, Bronzah. There's still another, and I'll hunt the other 3 just as the door opens. Famali enters. Famali. Sister Bronzah, pardon the intrusion. Someone here insists on a word with you. Bronzah, who is it this time? Famali. The name of Madj Faubus. Bronzah turns. Let's go of Sevla. Bronzah. Impossible. I'm afraid you have to follow me. So beginneth the walk from Sever Esther's quarters to the lobby. Bronzah walks in. Hooded figures are perched around the room, standing like reapers. Bronzah is drawn to a single hologram video in the middle of the room. It's the vision of Madj Faubus. Madj Faubus. How is my subject, Sever Esther? Bronzah. She is beyond my reasoning. She sees her machine. I see my machine. Madj Faubus. Unfortunate. You know me. Bronzah. Not every day I meet a legend. Madj Faubus. It's indefinite. The 3 principles are equal in that moment. Bronzah. My teachings, your teachings have shown me much. Are you the first or the third residual? So the final vision is true? Madj Faubus. At this point, It doesn't really matter. Your plans are known. Stay razor sharp. Vision disappears. Figures float into place stand behind Bronzah. Famali comes forth with other Immortelles, all entranced. Famali, this is DNV Fasea Dokiel Emiadia. Any word from Madj Faubus? Bronzah. Yes, there is. Look into the face of this free spirit. She turns and motions toward the hooded figure. The face, demonic, yellow-red eyes glowing, 2 mouths, voices in cacophony of tones and languages. Bronzah and free spirit in unison. You all will be militia, I'll show you. But I'll show you. The militia will be out of necessary. You will feign yourselves as hunters and humanoids of males and humanoids, but only to other members of militia. I have Semaj Leahcim under curse. In the meantime, flashback, first scene. Semaj and Leahcim together. Bronzah. Bronzah remains silent. She sits on a throne, possessed. Her eyes glowing red, yellow in the darkness. Militia, Semaj, and Leahcim enter armed with weapon of swords. The weapon of swords glow with the shadows of the room, providing a lighting source. Semaj and Leahcim, we're here to take you back. Bronzah, you're more than welcome to try. Semaj and Leahcim approach, ready to arrest Bronzah. Bronzah, be still. Semaj and Leahcim freeze in place. Bronzah continues. Good. Now you will listen. I've met the beginning and the end. Do you know the story? Semaj and Leahcim in unison. Yes, as new we were told. Bronzah, as the highest peak you will see, the highest peak you must go. This time, the struggle is not required. Free spirit appears, catapulting up from behind Semaj and Leahcim. Free spirit speaks in a cryptic, monstrous voice. Residual displacement. Bronzah, no, not this time. They're still required. Semaj and Leahcim in unison. What would you ask of us? Bronzah and free spirit in unison. We are beyond asking. Free spirit floats off to several Esther's quarters. Bronzah watch. Bronzah and free spirit together. In the meantime, several Esther's talents will be put to use. Bronzah, Famali, and the other Immortelles look on as you hear voices and noises from the quarters of several Esther. As noise subsides, they turn and walk out, escorted by the hooded figures. Bronzah and free spirit together. Several Esther's talents will be put to use. See several Esther grow from the back of another Immortelle named Sage. Sort of a hodgepodge organic robot in the free spirit world. Both are in statue form, stillless. Both have blank stares into space. Sevla is protruding from the back, from the waist up. She has two weapons of sorts fused in each hand. Half her face is covered by militia gear. She wears militia uniform. Harana Malin's voiceover. Harana Malin's voiceover. This chapter focuses on an immortelle named Bronzah. Interior, on screen, 90 years later, the Bronzah bastards. See young immortelles led by an immortelle named Baze Kush in a room on a homestead. Bodies of impregnated males litter the floor. Bronzah bastards are a new cult of immortelles in idolatry for Bronzah. Their necks slashed open, scars ring around the neck, eyes gouge out. They wear this as a fashionable, ritualistic badge of honor. Harana Malin's voiceover. I've come to know Bronzah and the other immortelles with their mythology during my creative process. Interior, on screen, present day, Earth. See a young black teenage girl finishing a novel called Free Spirit Third Eye by Harana Malin's. She places the book in her lap. Her point of view turns toward corner of room where a teenage boy lay. His abdomen is swollen. Low moaning begins to writhe. His abdomen is moving. Young black girl watches, no expression on her face. Harana Malin's voiceover. During my creative process, it's a strange and wondrous universe. Free Spirit Third Eye novel closes. Fin for now.